In today's episode, Donna asks what I think of this AI-powered baby monitor and my thoughts on it. Well, there are two things on the topic of any kind of AI-based child care solution or any AI-based solution, period, which is the production data and the training data. So production data is pretty straightforward in terms of what things I would be concerned about. Number one, of course, is privacy. What happens to your data, particularly if it's of your child, when it is uploaded to a service? Right? Is it stored securely? How is it processed? How does the processing occur? What information is being gathered? How is it encrypted, etc.? And those are all things that any reputable solution provider should be able to give you answers to about how they treat their data. That's easy stuff. The more difficult thing, particularly in this use case, is this is a product that is claiming to do image recognition from a live video feed and identify when your baby has turned over to what is considered to be an unsafe sleeping position. Here's my challenge with this type of analysis. I feel like it can lull parents into a false sense of security and is not a substitute for actual parenting. So that's one side. Second side is the training data. Any AI solution has to have a training data set that is informed by uh, footage, samples that tell it like this is what to recognize. This solution is a supervised learning solution, right? You're looking for a specific use case, a human being in a certain position, and you want to recognize it and then use that to trigger the basis of some kind of alert. So how does it do that? What was the basis for comparison? What is the model trained on? And was the model trained on a robust enough data set? So the classic textbook error in this kind of case is the folks who wrote a simulation wrote a model to identify wolves and differentiate wolves from dogs. Did all this test data, all this training data, and they loaded in, and in the lab it worked perfectly. But when they rolled it out, it failed miserably. Why? When the scientists decomposed the model, it turns out it wasn't recognizing the wolf at all. It was recognizing whether there was snow or not in the pictures. All the pictures of the wolves had snow on the ground. So it was clearly the case where the model was not well supervised. When it comes to something like this, think about all the different environments that you can have in a crib. Yes, in theory, a crib should be a plain background with no toys or distractions. Not, but this is humanity we're talking about. Everybody's environment is set up differently. Lighting is set up differently. And most critically, when it comes to human beings, there is a tremendous amount of bias in AI data sets of images and videos of human beings. Most training data sets tend to skew heavily towards Caucasians, people with lighter skin, um, and of European descent, which means that if the company does not disclose their training data, then there's a good chance that they did not train on people of African descent, people of Asian descent, children who are differentially abled. And so to make the broad claim that this product is going to help save your kid's life without having detailed information about how the model was trained, I personally would not feel comfortable uh, relying on such a thing. Now, that said, unless you own a 10,000 square foot house where your kid's literally all the way on the other side of the facility and you can't hear from one room to the next. As a parent of two kids, uh, we have a real small house. Our house is like 1,200 square feet. Right? You can hear everything whether you want to or not. And so I would question the need for this product in general if you're there and you can hear your kid crying and moving around. Okay, infants are not quiet. Um, and if you're not there, if if the product is to try and stop sudden infant death syndrome, if it's anything like a heart attack, you have a couple of minutes to react before you need to go and do something, before the damage becomes irreversible. And so I don't know how much utility this product gives. My opinion, my feeling, my emotion about it is that I think it's taking advantage of parents in some ways, in the sense of, well, you're deathly afraid that your kid's going to just roll over and die. And certainly as a parent, nobody wants to lose a child. No matter what the statistics are, if it's you, it's awful. But I feel like this is probably a product, a solution in search of a real problem, and it takes advantage of those fears that parents have, particularly these days, where people have become so incredibly risk averse that they will buy stuff that may or may not be helpful. Now, I don't think this product will do any harm, right? If you install it, as long as you don't abdicate your parenting responsibilities, it's not going to do any harm. But I don't know that it will provide any help, and I don't know that the cost is worth it compared to a traditional baby monitor. If you want to use just a traditional old-fashioned one, that is just sound when you wirelessly transmitted on a standard radio frequency, no cloud, no internet involved, just good old-fashioned radio transmitter that you can get at Target or Walmart or wherever for 30, 40 bucks. I feel like that's probably just as good a solution in this case, if that is a serious concern of yours, and if you believe that, and if you're able to be a present parent, and unless you yourself have a medical condition in which you just can't hear things when you sleep, the AI monitor is probably not going to help either way. So the key things, though, are what happens to the production data, what happens to the test data, the training data. How well was it trained? How diversely was it trained? And does it solve the problem that you're asking it to solve? I would, like I said, I don't think the money's worth in this case, but if you got extra money and you have no idea what to do with it, I guess it doesn't hurt. As always, please leave your comments below in the comments box. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter. I'll talk to you soon. Want help solving your company's data analytics and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.